I'm Brodor, and this is Why We Game. I can't do my normally obnoxiously loud introduction because we're in public. We're here at the Fantasy Shop flagship location in St. Charles, Missouri. We're here for their Christmas party. I'm here with John Perks. I'm here with Brent Condit, who have been guests on the show before, but I'm also here with my friend Derian. Derian, you're such a beautiful, ugly...
Wait, does that mean we're not friends?
No, we are friends, but Derian he's a black hat like me, right? He's a villain. And so I definitely want to make sure that people understand that you two are sitting in white chairs and we are in black chairs because we are the bad guys. The toilet paper scandal is the thing that drove him away. And even after the toilet paper scandal, he is still here at the Christmas party, hanging out, loving the Fantasy Shop, because that's how much that means to so many of us. It's been so long.
All things told, that toilet paper scandal is actually probably my fault.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so what happened?
Well, Derian...
Now, there's another villain in this piece who's actually a proper real villain, and he was always a villain, and no one believed me. But that's neither here nor there.
Derian took it upon himself to violently attack a set of stairs. The staircase won, but because of the fallout from that battle, Derian did not show up for work. And he had been warned that if he did not show up for work again, he was going to lose his job. And lo and behold, he did actually lose his job. Derian and I continued to be friends after that. We would hang out, we would talk, and he had expressed joking interest in trying to get his job back. And I sat down and asked him seriously over lunch one day, like, hey, are you serious? Would you want to try to get your job back? And he goes, yeah, maybe I would. And I was like, okay, well, then you have to stop making it a joke. You have to go in, be serious, tell them why, tell them what's changed about you, the different place you're in your life, and if you actually want your job back, be serious about it. And they gave him the job back. And then the toilet paper scandal happened. So yeah, it's my fault.
It was the biggest mistake of my life.
What, leaving?
No coming back.
What? No, stop it. No, wait a minute. Hold on a second. So you're here now?
What?
You're here now. What are you talking about coming back?
The store.
Yes, no. When you said, okay, just coming back, not as an employee. Like, I thought there was a whole new twist to the story that I was unaware of. But I'm also medicated, which is perfectly legal in the state of Missouri, and I have a card.
My employment was not one whole employment.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Oh, I was late all the time.
Oh, you're one of those. Yeah, just unfucking forgivable.
I was out partying.
I mean, like, the easiest goddamn thing you can do for your job is to be there when your shift starts.
Absolutely. I was partying all the time, hanging out, and one of those nights I got in a fight with the stairs. I thought it was a person, As Brett said, I lost. It is the villain's origin story.
I love it. You're like Mr. Glass.
What's up?
You're like Mr. Glass. That's amazing. Yeah. That's absolutely amazing. Well, no, even for myself, I mean, people who listen to the show regularly know that this has been an important part of my life for many, many years. And I'm here with three of my favorite people who it's an important part of theirs as well.
Has been for a very long time.
Yeah, so, and obviously I can cut this out, Brett, but can you talk about the thing and the office and that stuff? Can you talk about that, or is that verboten?
What thing and what office?
Like, are you...
Oh, okay, so my new position. Last time I was on, you actually asked me what my title was, and I have no idea.
Yes, okay, so now things have evolved.
Yes.
Let's talk, what is your official title now?
Director of Operations.
Director of Operations.
We're still, figuring out what exactly that job is. It's kind of a day-to-day learning process. The title was sort of made up as it was given to me, and the job has been kind of made up as I've been doing it. So.
Right. No, I remember that fondly. Yeah, no, I do. I remember that very, very fondly, going through the processes of learning how to do my job as we discover what my job is.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I am sort of a liaison between the four locations and between the managers and Dave and Kel, and I also deal with a lot of numbers. I sometimes understand those numbers, I sometimes don't, but I make them to where they all equal out in the end, so...
I am convinced that Dave has some sort of economic voodoo that he does, because even though I literally wrote checks for the company for years, I still don't understand how it works.
It's called a black book, okay? keep it in the safe in the back.
Oh, sure, a second book. Yeah, now that's... sorry, Dave, we're going to get you audited.
Yeah, as the antagonist of the story,
Again.
I should make up facts about how the
Well, now
finances
that will not be the first audit that Dave has been through, and I helped survive, or I shouldn't say I didn't do a goddamn thing, but sit there and yell at people, which is what I do. So I guess I did help the company survive an audit before I left the company, yeah.
And you kept things organized in a way that had not been organized before. You seemed to learn from the audit before that. I remember picking up some of the paperwork and the way that things were.
Fuck, dude, going through
through
bankers' boxes of stuff, right? You just had piles and piles of stuff and register spools and shit staple, and just none of it made sense. It was hell. Hell.
It was
That's
like
not at all what our system is currently.
Oh my God.
It's a mess.
So, okay, you guys have been in business for 40 years. Get your life. Like, what's the deal with not having digital stuff?
We're onboarding QuickBooks as of
Somebody
January.
wheel Dave over here. I'm going to ask him.
No, QuickBooks. We're onboarding QuickBooks January 2022.
Yeah, I have heard the new technology.
Yeah. No, I'm serious.
the internet.
We're going completely digital.
Wow, that's amazing. So how are things at the collector's store?
Great, super busy, good times.
I heard that the miniature market previous owner, former owner, was in your store recently, and you got to chat with him.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And he's doing well?
Yeah, he's living a dream.
He
already
is.
has futures beyond, the miniature market.
It's
He has
pretty
plans and stuff.
crazy. So let me ask you guys then, and this is a serious question, and I know I'm springing it on you, but you know that I won't fuck you, and if you don't want to talk about it, we won't. But with Asmodee purchasing Miniature Market and Miniature Market's hometown being St. Louis, you're now going to have the Asmodee. I assume they're going to keep the retail locations open. I mean, I don't know. My sources in Miniature Market have all been pretty tight-lipped, but you do know?
I can't talk about it.
You're a cunt. You can't just, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I just need you, are they going to leave them open? All you have to do is nod or shake your head. You don't have to say anything.
I can neither confirm or deny.
Your eyes didn't do what they were supposed to do. Like you were supposed to indicate to me with your face what.
I have no knowledge of future plans Asmodee has.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think it makes any sense to close them. There are certain deals with certain companies. You have to have brick and mortar locations. It seems smart.
Not when you're Asmodee. You can fuck right off. You don't have to have anything. If you're Asmodee and you own, or I should say Embracer, whatever the hell they called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Embracer group. That sounds rapey.
Especially when the digital age is going insane right now with the online platform that Miniature Market has, which is one of the primary reasons Asmodee bought them. They could just sell online to anyone in the entire world.
All that data, right? All that data.
Yeah.
It seems to me, though, they haven't, at least yet, they haven't changed any of their business plan. They're still carrying competitors' games, and they're still...
I will say nothing has happened yet because nothing has started.
Right, because Asmodee is, at least according to Wikipedia, the bid for the Embracer group to purchase Asmodee, at least as of a few minutes prior to this recording, was still quote unquote going through. Now that Wikipedia article could have been incorrect. I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
That's not what this is about. This is about hot goss.
Yeah,
and if you have
about hot goss.
if you have hot goss that you can't share, that's fine. I respect you, but I know that the guests are disappointed that I have not been able to pry said hot goss from you.
What I would assume is the deal and everything would start changing in March is my assumptions on how it would go. And what I think they would do is close down all their stores. Hypothetically, I'm not sure exactly what the plan is, and then open a super center in each major city in the entire country.
So, and again, Steve, please forgive me. Don't sue me. You don't own the company anymore. Actually plotting a corridor of stores along 70 was something that was part of the plan, like from opening day one. Once he saw how lucrative the first location was, it was just a matter of time before second, third, fourth, etc.
And he shared that exact plan when he interviewed on episode
2.
Yeah,
it was my second guest behind old Dave. Yeah.
So if you want to hear about Steve's mentality and his rise to success, it was a really interesting listen.
Thanks, John. You're so sweet. And it was one of my earlier shows, so I was less vulgar and more nervous.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He had a lot of good things to say. And
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
It was interesting to get to hear a little bit into the mindset of this man that I've never
Is
met
the rest
before.
of the show just going to be the two of you, like, going back and forth?
I was really trying to, like, I was trying to plug episode 2 is what I was doing.
It's just. Sorry, John. We were floating.
Sorry, we didn't hear that.
I know
Mike.
you
Can
did.
you do it with your mouth? Right now?
Oh my God, that sounded fucking monstrous. That's definitely going to get cut out. All right, so
Any
no,
which
we're
way.
not going to sit here and inflate Steve Lisinski, but I have mad respect for the guy, right? I mean, he's got a great head, but we're not here to talk entirely about Steve or entirely about Dave and the magic of 40 years of the Fantasy Shop. We're also here to talk a little speculation, and so I'm going to turn things over to my buddy Brett, who's going to dance around a topic, and we can't wait.
Yeah, so the rumor mill is...
Wait a minute. Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
And this is if it's totally none of my business, but every time I see you, you're with a different attractive woman. What's the deal?
I don't know what you're referring to.
So it's just variety is the spice of life, and you're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna die. I am just gonna
I can neither confirm nor deny any of those.
Let's go back to what speculation you teased me with. It got me all titillated.
So I heard from a third-party publisher of 5th edition books, so someone who takes the open game licensing from Wizards of the Coast and D&D and creates a third-party book.
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, there are. That the online platform D&D Beyond is going to lose all of their 5e licensed Dungeons & Dragons products. Access to OGL information and all of it.
Did they have any speculation as to why?
The belief is what I'm going to call 5.5 is coming out. So a slightly updated version of the rules that will, for a while, sort of get rid of any OGL that existed before that, because they always have this window of like 2 years after they come out with a rule set where you can't use any of the rules. And along with that, the belief is they're going to start their own platform online to access the materials, to be able to play D&D online with your friends, using all of their information.
I have believed this. I have faithfully held this belief for many years. WotC doesn't want you. WotC doesn't want to be in business with standard retailers. They don't, even though you're super important to their business in both building it and propagating it and just proselytizing the hobby, they don't want to do business with you. We, as an industry, have always been beneath whoever their overlords are. And at every turn, they're like, oh, well, we're gonna do this because it fucks retailers. We're going to do that because it fucks retailers. You have all these companies who have built themselves around the OGL, and you're just going to rip the carpet. I mean, it's your product, right? It's your business. You do your thing. But boy, that seems shitty.
Yeah, and it's twofold. So this cuts out any sort of third-party publisher from being able to create any content that even remotely talks about or uses any sort of 5e rule. It also creates this idea that, along with online control of all of their licensed information, they could start going direct. So for a while, WotC has been selling Magic cards direct to consumers. Secret Lair, things like that. The idea is that they are going to use this as a way to transition into going the Games Workshop model, selling directly from them to the public and also to retailers.
But now, WotC's done this before, right? So Wizards in the past has had their own retail stores. They tried doing their own distribution, and they shit the bed.
Yeah.
So what's different now?
The amount of money they have to do it.
And the online space, like there's WotC accounts on.
You're right. It didn't exist 20 years ago.
There's WotC accounts on Amazon right now that you can get rock bottom prices for stuff. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, I think that is actually WotC, like WotC brand. There's sellers on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. They advertise that any new release of their products, there's a link to Amazon to buy directly from Amazon, which is basically directly from them.
Let me ask you this. So What happens, and again, we are going way off the rails here, but I think all of us are relatively sober. I know you are, because you don't touch anything, do you?
I do not drink.
Okay.
In the attempt to rule the world, a sober mind is very
No,
key.
it's true. Yeah, but an intoxicated mind is what keeps me from killing myself, and so that's really.
Good talk.
Yes, this is actually an intervention here, Mike.
So, oh God, well, there's no banner, so I know that's bullshit. Yeah, there's no that's not, because you got to do the whole thing, the production. But anyway, what happens to the industry then? What happens to brick and mortar, what happens to a, to use the old antiquated term, a mom and pop shop like the Fantasy Shop, even though you're a 4-store chain, even though you also carry comics, even though you have decades of XP? What happens to you guys? What happens to the brick and mortar retail industry if all of a sudden we just don't carry D&D anymore to the degree that we did because people are buying direct from WotC?
Well, I think you see a product that loses its MSRP, sees the internal cost of the price go up, and forces us on our end, if we want to keep making the profits that we make, raise our prices and look like the bad guy when they're still selling it online at a much deeper price than we are. I mean, that's hypothetically speaking what they could do.
My God, you're so smart. That answer is amazing. No, because you're absolutely right. John, you don't look happy. You're the buyer of the company for the Fantasy Shop, so let me ask you this. Have you ever used Amazon as a distributor? Because I have spoken to...
sourced products from Amazon before.
Is that becoming more and more common?
It probably should become more common than it is, disappointingly so, than I do right now.
It used to be exclusively Cards Against Humanity and games that we could only get through Amazon.
Like last year or the year before,
It's a deep discount on...
huge discounts on all the D&D books that were undercutting our distributors by $4 or $5.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I hear is that they just...
Amazon was undercutting distributors, and that was fascinating. And another example, again, I know this is a gaming podcast, but an insight on how easily comic publishers are also linking Amazon affiliate links on their websites, things like that. It's fascinating as these big names and these big publishers have transitioned very naturally into finding direct markets for their customers. It's their business. It makes sense. I look not happy because... yeah, it will undoubtedly affect us. It will undoubtedly undermine our ability to serve the local market that we do. And we are, as a brick and mortar mom and pop shop that has been trying to do this community focused and try to have relationships with customers in the way that we do, the convenience of the internet it wins on so many different fronts. And I did not look happy because that's a thinking face of how do we actually compete in that market? What do we do when it is happening right now? Like, there's no question about it. It does not make me happy that it is happening, but we do our best to go through the steps every week to take care of the customers that are coming through our door. It's hard for me to picture a 5-year plan on this, Mike. I don't think in that way. I tend to the issues in front of me. So to speculate what would that happen, what happens when they pull third-party publishers, or when they pull the content for third-party publishers and they make these different moves, like the process that you just described about taking away the MSRP, making the brick and mortar location that has a high price look like the villain, like you just described the model that they did with Magic the Gathering, with Magic the Gathering several years ago.
As you said, they've already have an established plan. Yeah.
Like, then your sarcasm there went over my head. I'm too short for that one. But we're already in that place. And the future of the mom and pop shops is to develop a strong internet presence as soon as possible.
Let me ask another question from the opposite side of my mouth, and that is, I speak to each of you with differing regularity, but my understanding, not just from yourselves, but from other retailers, is that brick and mortar is doing very, very well during the pandemic.
So, yeah, it's for a couple of reasons, I think. one, a lot of people are staying home, so they need things to do. Two, everyone knows, and it's equal across the board, there are shipping problems in the world right now. Getting products from somewhere outside of your local game store is problematic. And there is a cost-benefit analysis that every purchaser online does when they look at that product. Oh, I'll get it 3 months from now? I'll get it like $20 cheaper, but I'm going to get it 3 months from now?
Can I challenge that for a second?
Sure.
And the only reason I say that is I was literally just talking to a former employee, Scott Blumenkamp, about this. How he was trying to get different pigments and terrain, terrain components or materials for stuff that you can't get. That he got it from Amazon and got it quickly, right? I literally just ordered my Christmas presents like 3 days ago, and they just showed up, right? So I get that shipping issues are a deal, but it doesn't seem to be affecting Amazon. So what I'm getting at is I think there's a different reason that people want to come into the store and see you. Yeah, go do your thing. Walk away. Go say goodbye.
I don't know who's leaving.
Dave's leaving. Dave and Kelly.
Got it.
What? Wait, Dave, Kel, come here. The owners of the fantasy shop, Dave and Kelly Wallace, are leaving and making their goodbyes, so John has stepped away from the table for just a moment. But in all seriousness, I think that people are looking for a thing that they're not normally getting. I think they want to be social, right? I think they want
the fantasy again.
Yeah.
But I think also the problem there is,
Oh, Dave, come on over.
again, I think there's a cost-benefit analysis. And I wish I knew the formula. I wish I knew what the dollar amount was that changes that customer's mind when they're in the store versus when they're online. Like, what's that dollar amount that makes the shift? If I knew that, if I had that magic formula, boy.
Because I don't, but I will say, though, I do think that we're in a fascinating place because, and I've only been tinkering with the theory in my head for a minute, but I think that concierge gaming is the future, right? I think that what you're going to have is you're going to have large corporations who buy smaller corporations like Embracer, Asmodee, and Simon, right? But if Simon wanted to, dude, I'm convinced that they could just walk away, right? If they wanted to, they could be their own entity and be extremely successful, never be in a retail store, never be in distribution, and just deal directly concierge with their fans.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think what's going to be the deal breaker there is going to be, like you said, that social interaction. I don't think even the best concierge through a screen, through a typing, through a digital interaction interface is never going to be the same as that feeling you get standing across from someone talking about their favorite game and telling you what their last adventure was like and how everyone got super excited, or walking in and watching people in the back of the shop playing D&D and getting super excited because their guy just rolled a natural 20.
But is the industry about making games anymore, or is the industry about making money? Because I think, and I don't know, Dave, I would love for you to jump in right now. To me, it feels like the industry, it's money motivated.
I think you're both missing it slightly.
Of course we did. As this is what was going to happen. I knew Dave was going to come over and tell us where we were wrong. So please, Dave.
It's about the games. It's about the money. But it's more about creating new gamers, introducing people to the industry. And that's where both of them have their benefits. But the game store itself is the place where, look, if I don't know anything about this, this is where I learn about it. This is where I get excited. This is where I find out about it. And I can buy it cheaper elsewhere, but that's only once I know what I'm looking for, what I want, and who I'm going to play with. That initial introduction, you need a host. You need somebody that's going to make it interesting, exciting, and fun for you. So I think that there's room for everybody.
So let me ask you then, and I know you're not plugged into this, but you guys are younger than me, and I'm a little bit younger than Dave, just by a couple. What about influencers and TikTok and social media taking the place of the game store as the spot where you get your information?
So I do agree. Influencers, TikTokers, and stuff can teach the people about the games, show people, advertise, because sponsors exist. They sponsor those people. But also in support of Dave's argument, for every mega corporation like Amazon, there are the rebels who refuse to shop at Amazon, that refuse to go to the Walmarts in support of the local game store. I mean,
Well,
they're
it's
still
like-
gonna come here
but-
because
but
fuck
I-
Jeff Bezos, fuck Amazon. you
Right,
know.
but the thing is, and I think that China has proved it. I mean, slavery is a despicable and horrible thing, but Nike still makes shoes in China, right?
Sure.
I think that eventually we get to a point where you don't have option. Eventually, I think that the giant that is the Amazon, the digital model, the digital influencers, that eventually that irreparably changes the face of brick and mortar retail. I just don't know what that looks like.
No, but as he was just saying, there will always be options because there are always people that want options, even if it's not the best choice. You know what? I don't want to go with the crowd. I do want to support my local guy. I want to know who I'm benefiting, not some nameless person in a corporation. So even if 99% of the population of the world wants to embrace Amazon, there's still going to be that 1% that want to embrace the new place, the guy that's struggling, the guy that's trying harder. So there's no reason to feel negative about the future. It's going to change, but there's still room for us all, and there's still time and hope for everybody.
I love your optimism, Dave.
I do feel optimistic.
Yeah, I don't, but
I think part of the proof there, though, is also like when I was looking at Board Game Geek and I was looking about the Asmodee sale and purchasing Miniature Market, 90% of the comments were, well, I'm never shopping at Miniature Market again, because this perception that they are now this huge multi-billion euro corporation.
those people are liars. They're liars. Some of those people are telling the truth,
Yes.
but most of those people are liars.
the fact
They're
that-
not liars, but how ironic, how hypocritical. I mean, if you live in a glass house, you won't support the local guy because you want to go for the best price. And the second the company takes advantage of an opportunity that is offered to them, you hate them and you won't shop with them anymore.
So they're liars and hypocrites. Thanks, Dave. I hate them even more.
I don't think the local game store will be a multi-million-dollar, a multi-billion-dollar industry because of the impression and the influence that internet has. But I think most local game store owners, most, not all, don't necessarily go into it for the money. They don't go into it for the infinite
Not-
dollars.
I'll guarantee that.
Exactly.
Well,
they
no.
do it because it's something they want to do.
But money is undeniably in the industry now.
I
If you
agree.
look at Matt Mercer, you look at what happened with Miniature Market, you look at Asmodee, you look at Watsy and Hasbro, there's money here. And the villains are coming and they're sniffing it.
But here's the argument to that. Ben, the owner of the collector store, is rich. We have done very well in the past multiple years. And he even says all the time, I could have made more money doing anything else.
Yep.
That's not the point. It's not
For him.
What?
No,
That's
for
not the point for him.
For
Exactly.
most of the small business people, that's the point. We all could have made more money elsewhere. You know, there's the old joke, if you want to make $1 million in the gaming industry, start with $2 million. The reality is that we don't do it because we're trying to make money. Money is a side benefit and measurement that tells us that we can still do it again next year. But it's not the primary motivating factor.
No, but are the people with money going to come in and fuck it up?
They're going to try to, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean they succeed.
So one of the other comments I saw a lot on that Board Game Geek article was good for Miniature Market, bad for the industry. The lack of one company like owning or being in control of things, like it's better. If there's more people who own different things, if there's more variations, there's good growth. There's a little bit of the pie for everybody. Once you start getting those mega corporations that own everything, you don't get that. You don't get variety. This is what you get, a box. It's like every other box that's out there. I tend to agree with that. I think people are going to get tired of that box. It doesn't matter how cheap they can get it from that box. I think they're going to want something different. They're going to want something unique. I think there's always going to be that place for that.
I think part of the proof of that is, look, there was a time when nobody believed you could sell a game for more than $20. And it took, hey, here's a $40 game, here's a $60 game, here's a $100 game, here's a $200 game, before the industry awoke to the fact that it's not just about the money. I want to experience that. I want to be on the edge. I want to find and try new things. And that hasn't gone away. If anything, that's increased. So there's more people that are following the, hey, what's the latest trend? But there are also more people that are looking for, no, this is what I got into this industry for. This is what I want to experience.
I do agree with your future analysis. Brodor, everything's going to go digital. Comics are going to be digital. Board games, and that stuff will.
China will rule Africa, and they will rape the land for cobalt. Yeah, no, I've seen the crystal ball. Yeah.
Yeah, but we have time. We have years. They can't make that switch immediately because there is still the sense of the past. There's still what it is now. So, I mean, worst case scenario, I still got 10 years. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to have fun. If I have to move on to something else, I move on to something else. Right now, I'm having a good time. I'm living my dream,
So I'm grousing about an inevitable future that I won't live long enough to see.
And it's the global warming thing.
Yeah, it's
we're not
the
going to be
meme I
here
saw
when the
earlier.
Earth blows up.
When I grow up, and then some guy was like, "It's 70 in December. You're not growing up."
Well, Dave, can I just say thank you for all of the years of, I still have very fond and vivid memories of the first time walking into the shop when it was in the center of Main Street down there. I think I was in that store maybe one time before you guys moved to the old 2nd Street two-story corner building that I love. And the shops, the people, the industry, what I learned from you about management and about maturity, I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys have done over the years.
Thank you, very much appreciated. It's been a heck of a journey, and it's been a happy one. We're at our Christmas party, and when you look around, people are interacting, having fun, enjoying themselves, talking with each other. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a scheduled event that you're expected to be at. This is what we set out for, and I'd like to think that everybody that leaves the company, I'm sitting at a table with two of you right now, I'd like to think that everybody that leaves the company will look back on their time with it and realize that was some of the best times that I had.
Yeah, well, for what it's worth, and I don't say this lightly, it's bigger than you, right? It has left an impression on not just the St. Louis area, but on the industry. I was having a conversation with another former employee earlier and his wife, and she said, you watched my husband and I date. You've seen all of my kids be born and grow up, and it's the relationships that we build through the hobby are just, they're precious. And nobody here, in this building would have that without what you have done. But that stretches much, much farther to retail stores all over.
Yeah, it's not just about your experience with the store, even with the industry. It's about what it does for your life. And that's the best thing I can give back to anybody, is trying to find a way to help them improve their lives.
At risk of sounding hyperbolic, gaming has saved me escapism. Comics, games have saved me from myself more than once.
And it pleases the heck out of me to hear that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Should we get, now that Dave only has one organic leg, should we start being mean to him since he can't get away very fast?
You're mean to me.
Oh, dude, I'm brutally mean to you.
I can't punch back.
No, it's true. Well, because you and my wife both have very similar scars. She has the fasciotomy scars on her leg. Mm-hmm. You have them on your arm. And so, I have a thing for dicked up, scarred people. Yeah, I really do. It's my jam. Yeah, so amputees and people with, you're my folk.
Yeah, but next year I'll be walking without a cane. So.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, Kelly was actually saying that your physical therapy is going well, and that's great. I tell anybody who will listen, what I makes so much difference. But any which way.
I did physical therapy, so.
Yeah.
God bless us, everyone.
Yeah, God bless us, everyone. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you. I don't know where Brett went. He left. I'm sorry, but there we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Why We Game. I would like to let you know that audio editing is done by me, Brodor. The music is by 99 Instrumentals. If you want to see Derian naked, you want to go to lemonparty.org. That's right. If you're tired of politics as usual, go to lemonparty.org. Oh, by the way, tell your friends about the show, but don't steal my shit.